Hey folks, this is BestInSlot and welcome to a very special mod spotlight for Jurassic World Evolution 2. This is expanded Digsite Randomization by Axolotl666. It is a hugely comprehensive way to randomize the order that you unlock dinosaurs, or indeed the dinosaurs available depending on certain canons, etc. for Jurassic World Evolution 2. 68 new ways to randomize your park in sandbox or custom challenge mode. So let's see how it works. It's quite a complex little mod, so let's dig into this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make a new square level. We're going to turn on all the necessary stuff, which is this in particular. And now, as you can see, we do have Digsite Randomization in Jurassic World Evolution 2. But as it says over here, this partially randomizes the order in which dig sites are unlocked. It's not true randomization. You don't end up, starting the game with an Indominus Rex or something like that, just in case things go terribly wrong. So I've built a beautiful park here on Isla Nublar 1993. It is important we keep testing this mod on the same map because different maps have different dinosaurs available by default. But this is how the game by default, unmodded, handles dig site customization. So let's go to our site center, view research, and for example, let's go to our carnivores. Now, as you can see, we've started with Troodon, Segisaurus, Majungasaurus. Nothing too crazy. There's a little bit of mix up, we can see quite an early Spinosaurus there, that's earlier than usual. So unfortunately not as beautiful as my last park, but we have a brand new map with new dig site randomization. Let's go into research, let's go into carnivores, and of course this would apply to all your different types of species. And as you can see, it's largely similar. We have different dinosaurs here quite noticeably in the start bit, but Dimetrodons have appeared again, Majungasaurus has appeared again, and then rather than the Baryonyx, this time we've got the Suchomimus. It's always a Piscivore there, but it randomizes which Piscivore it's going to be, and that's basically how it works. So the nodes themselves don't move. We always start with a medium carnivore and two small carnivores, but the game is kind of randomizing which dinosaurs are contained within those confines, right? Now, there's two ways to use the expanded Digsite Randomization mod. Let's talk about the first way. So the first way the game offers randomization is via 4 preset folders that change the game in different ways. And I'm just going to talk through these and I'm going to try 1 or 2 of them out in game. So all you have to do to install these is drag and drop the folder into your Oval Data folder, just like you would with any other mod. So as I say, 4 different types. So we've got Vanilla, which follows the base game randomization. So you've got your early, mid, and late game tiers and randomizing within families. As we've seen, that's how the game works. But it also randomizes the position of DLC animals. The base game, by default, the DLC animals are placed in the same spots, even with Digsite randomization turned on. The Flex version keeps the family randomization, but it removes those early, mid, and late game tiers. It allows things to move around more. It also removes some of the restrictive unlock requirements, things like combat and gene-specific conditions. For example, you need to unlock this gene to unlock this dinosaur. Things like that will be removed. So let's just try these out in game just so we're getting a good handle on how exactly this mod is working. So as I say, Vanilla keeps things roughly as they are. The only difference is, for example, over here, we've got Yutyrannus in medium carnivores 4A. So in our 4th tier, we get this bucket of medium carnivores. And whilst Metri and Mega may move around, Yutyrannus as a DLC dinosaur is always going to be in bucket medium carnivores 4A. With the default game randomization, what Vanilla will do is allow the Yutyrannus to move around. So it's essentially just a slightly better version of the base game randomization because it includes those DLC dinosaurs. Now, Flex also keeps the family randomization. So here we've got medium carnivores 4A. Medium carnivores 4A is always going to contain medium carnivores. But as you can see, the game is at the moment sort of split into, you've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and the game kind of sticks to those and kind of adds your large carnivores later on and stuff like that. It's a very natural progression in that way. So we've got a few differences with Flex installed. The positions are still the same. We're still unlocking small carnivores and medium carnivores right at the start, 1 medium, 2 small. But as you can see, our small carnivore is now Velociraptor. The Yutyrannus has moved. I saw it a second ago, I promise. The Yutyrannus has now moved down to here to medium carnivores 4B. And then there's the higher tier carnivores like your Chondrosaurus, your Velociraptors, your Pyroraptors that have gone from these higher tiers and been brought back into these lower tiers and accessible at that point. This, for me, I think is the most logical way to play the game. This kind of keeps the logical order in that, you know, you get a few small carnivores and a medium carnivore at the start, and then you're kind of going to move forward until here when you get your first large carnivores with your Tarbosaurus and Allosaurus. So it keeps that kind of progression, and as you can see, we still have the hybrids here at the end. But it kind of just unleashes the dinosaurs a little bit from the tier system, so you can unlock certain medium carnivores a little bit earlier. It's randomization whilst keeping the natural progression, basically. But we can go much more random. So the third of the options is Chaos, and Chaos randomizes all research nodes in each tree together. Let's go check that one out in game as well. So I've installed some Chaos, as I want to do. Let's hop into our research and once again check out our carnivores. So, as you can see, it still says medium carnivores 1, but it's an Acrocanthosaurus. As you can see, it says small carnivores, and actually it is small carnivores. Basically, it randomizes what's inside the buckets entirely. So this just stays static in name only, really. This is true randomization. You could get entirely shafted, but if you wanted a pure random experience, this is the way to do it. For example, if we look at the second tier, in this bucket here, we've got Monolophosaurus, Baryonyx, and Allosaurus. That is a small, medium, and large carnivore, all contained within a single bucket. It basically just removes the family limitations and shuffles the dinosaurs around at entirely random. So as we kind of scroll through, you'll just see it's all a big mix. There's our Tyrannosaurus Rex there very early on. The only thing it doesn't change is the position of the hybrids. Now that's of course because, as you can see, the hybrids require the previous dinosaurs to be created. You can't have the Indoraptor in tier 2 because you need the Indominus Rex to make the Indoraptor. You can't move the Indominus Rex early because you need the Tyrannosaurus Rex, etc. to certain levels. So basically you have to have the Scorpius, the Indom, the Indo, and the Spino down here just to make sure you've hit all the prerequisites. But this early stage entirely random. And let's just click on some others. I'm sure we'll notice some differences, even though we didn't look at it. Look, right here, marine reptiles. We can kick things off with the Mosasaurus, the Leopleurodon, and the Dunkleosteus. Hard creatures to handle, but really interesting and a really cool way to start off your park. Entire, creative, crazy randomization. Good stuff. Okay, I've got one more to show you as part of these general folder ones, and then I'm going to stop showing off about my incredible park building skills. This one is actually really cool though. So there's EDSR CT, and this is a Chaos Theory / Camp Cretaceous themed randomizer. So if we go into our research here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Once again, carnivores, and as you can see already, 2 out of 12. We've got far less carnivores, and every single carnivore in here is one that is contained within Camp Cretaceous or Chaos Theories. So if you wanted to do a sandbox or challenge mode based around the TV shows for Jurassic World, then this one will only give you dinosaurs that were shown on the show. Now there's only one dinosaur that's been on the show to this point that isn't also in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and that is of course the Beckelspinax from last season of Chaos Theory. However, they've brought in Concavenator as a kind of quasi Beckelspinax. That's about the closest we're going to get with the dinosaurs we have in the game. And let's just take a look at some of the others here. So we've got our Nasuto, our Sino, Stego, Spino, Pachyrhinosaurus, Kentrosaurus, and Ankylosaurus. Again, all ones that have appeared in the show. Not many flying reptiles. We've got Pteranodon and Dimorphodon, and in aquatics you would expect to see 2, right? Mosa and Nothosaurus. So any of you who are big fans of the TV show, you'll still get randomization, you'll still get random things going on and different orders here, but you're only going to get animals from the show. And if you're a big fan of that, I think that's actually a really cool idea. I promise we're getting there. But this bit's a little complex, you're going to have to bear with me. So let's bring up this new screen here. And basically, if you want to get really deep in your randomization customization, we can use 2 separate files called the roster file and the tree file. And these are just folders, and you just copy and paste the one you want from the rosters and the one you want from the trees into your oval data. Again, super easy to install. Roster determines which dinosaurs are going to be in your playthrough. So let's just go through these. All is every single animal, including the hybrids in the game. My tier is a personalized one from Axolotl, which is a 50+ animal tier based on their favorite animals in the game, basically. You've got an InGen Era 1, which is the classic Jurassic Park trilogy canon, and the Telltale canon because it wants to include the Tylosaurus, just so we have a single aquatic. There's also InGen Era X, which is based on the trilogy canon, but it's got some extended stuff, including novel, comics, cut content, video game toy lines, stuff like that. We've got Masrani Era, which is based on Jurassic World, canon, InGen, and Masrani. And then you've got Masrani Era EX, which is based on the same thing, but does include Holoscape and DPG list dinosaurs, includes semi-canon classic Park Era species. Biosyn Era, based on Jurassic World Era canon in total, so that's all the films till now basically. That's InGen, Masrani, Biosyn, and Manta all together. Includes the DPG list. And then you've got the EX version of the Biosyn as well, which is just that's every canon dinosaur that's been on the screen or the DPG list or seen in the Holoscape, etc, etc. So if you want just canonical dinosaurs, just canonical species, Biosyn Era EX seems like a really good way to do it, or indeed just Biosyn Era, and then you can limit yourself down to Masrani or InGen as you want from there. But how many and what variety of those species you get is also up to you. So the second section we've got here is the trees, and we've got sort of 5 different types here. We've got JP15, which is based on the film version of Jurassic Park. We've got 1 pterosaur, a bunch of carnivores, 15 species total, like the film version of Jurassic Park. We've got Jurassic World 24, based on the film version of Jurassic World, so that's 14 herbivores, 6 carnivores, 1 aquatic, 2 pterosaurs, and 1 hybrid. And then you've got Jurassic World 30, which is a slightly extended canonical version of Jurassic World. Got Novel 15, which is based on the book version of Jurassic Park, which means 1 pterosaur and many herbivores predominantly, 15 species in total. And then finally, you've got balanced trees, 15, 20, 25, or 30 species, which just balances around roughly a few herbivores, a few carnivores, a few pterosaurs, a few aquatics, a good general mix. Now, the one I like the sound of most there was JW24, 14 herbivores, 6 carnivores, 1 aquatic, 2 pterosaurs, and 1 hybrid. That seems like a really good mix. So I've got that installed, and I've also got InGen Era installed. So this is going to be interesting. Let's hop into research and let's see how that has played out. So remember, InGen Era should just be the classic Jurassic Park trilogy canon and the Telltale game. Let's go into our research and we should see we've got very few dinosaurs. Yes, so for example, let's go into our carnivores. We've got Herrerasaurus, which of course would be part of, say, the Telltale game or indeed the wider canon of the park that we know about. We've got Baryonyx, Compsognathus, Suchomimus, Spinosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and Spinoraptor. So it is pulling from the wider canon, and we have our Spinoraptor, but the interesting thing is we don't have T-Rex and we don't have Velociraptor, so it's pulled, you know, we get access to 7 different carnivores, and it means that things like the Metriacanthosaurus maybe, the Velociraptor, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, none of them make it into the list because it's only going to pull 7 from the possible roster. Let's have a quick look at the others. I expect this to just be Tylosaurus. Yep, there's our Tylosaurus. In our flyers, you'd expect Pteranodon and Geosternbergia. Again, that's kind of pulling from the novel somewhat. At the end of the day, we needed 2 pterosaurs because that's what I've set in Jurassic World 24. So obviously there's some expansion going on there. So folks, one more time around the block. Done this many times now. Where the heck is the science center? There you are, you cheeky little blighter. So what I've done here is all species and randomization 30, which should take a fairly balanced approach, giving us 30 species plucked from every single species in the entire game. It should be entirely random, even the hybrids. Let's take a look at the research. So what do we get? We get 2 flying reptiles, we get 4 armored herbivores, 7 medium and large, 3 small herbivores, 12 carnivores, and 2 marines. So that is what the 30 will always look like. The numbers of each isn't going to move. It's just meant to be a balanced roster to make a balanced sort of park. So we've got, you know, 14 herbivores, 12 carnivores, 2 of each of these. That makes a lot of sense. Let's once again check out carnivores. We start off with Albertosaurus and Dimetrodon, Ceratosaurus, Troodon, Sinosauropteryx, Trontosaurus, Atrociraptor, Segisaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, Tarbosaurus, Dilophosaurus, and finishing off with the Indominus Rex. Now, I know we've got Indominus Rex at the end here, but I'm pretty sure in theory that means we could have got Indominus Rex as early as, well, here. Basically, large carnivore bucket 1 or bucket 2. As you can see, it doesn't have T-Rex, etc. in the unlock requirements, in case you just don't get T-Rex, basically, or in case you get the Indominus a little bit too early. But this is a nice balanced roster, 30 dinosaurs, and it's just random. But you still got your natural progression, but it's just going to pick 30 species for you to possibly have. So you're not going to know what creatures you get in your game. Shonisaurus is your first aquatic into Elasmosaurus, for example. Or in our pterosaurs, we start with Marodactylus and we get Chehalopterus down the line. So much randomness, contained randomness, controlled randomness, but randomness all the same. Personally, my favorite of the bunch is just Chaos. I still think the Chaos roster is the coolest one. Just complete balls to the wall crazy. but you know what? Your mileage may vary. But either way, between the 4 default folders and then these rosters and trees that you can mix and match and control and kind of build your perfect dinosaur roster to randomize through, it's really cool stuff. There's tons more information out there, but there's lots of like finicky little details out there. I recommend you check out the mod for yourselves. But if you've been looking to mix up your gameplay on Evolution 2, if sandbox mode or in particular challenge mode has been getting a little bit boring for you, I would highly recommend this mod. I think it would make new playthroughs really, really exciting. And as I say, chaos in challenge. Imagine you go to chaos challenge mode on Jurassic difficulty and your initial carnivores, and it could happen. It's like T-Rex, Tarbosaurus, Tronjusaurus. It's all you get. You don't get any small carnivores whatsoever. In theory, that is possible on chaos mode. Either way, that is expanded Digsite Randomization by Axolotl 666. Highly recommend you check this out if you've been looking for ways to mix up your game. The demonic Axolotl compels you to do so, and I really like this little detail. I know it's a bit finicky because of how it moves, but it's pretty cool. That is it from me. This was a bit of a nightmare to do, but we got there in the end, and I think hopefully you now have a good handle on how this fantastic mod works. I love these big game changers like this, and I would suggest if you're playing on PC and you're, doing challenge mode and stuff, you should really give this one a go. So I'll link it down below, download it for yourselves, give the mod maker some love, throw me a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you lovely folks very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.